Hi guys, today we're going to learn about continuous line. Continuous line is a line that never stops, which means you never pick up your pen. It's a little bit of a challenge and it comes out a little bit scribbly, but that's kind of a cool style. So that's what we're going to work on today. If your first try doesn't come out, don't get discouraged. You can do it again or just chalk it up to practice. So we're going to start with a reference photo. This is the reference photo that I'm using. It's an architectural window adornment that I thought was pretty cool looking when we went on our last Europe trip last summer. So I'm going to be using a micro pen, but you could just use a ballpoint pen or a Sharpie. You can do this with pencil also. So when you start with continuous line, you just basically have to pick a place and go. Sometimes the proportions can come out kind of funny when you do a continuous line drawing because you don't have the option to lay out proportions like you do when you do a regular sketch. So again, because my challenge is to not pick up my pen at all, I have to do the shading as I go. I could also come back to it later. So continuous line is almost like if you could imagine a road. You can only travel somewhere by staying on that road. So now I can go back and I see that there's some decoration here on the side of this pillar. There's some little scallops here. You don't have to be this detailed. You could move more quickly and just get things laid out, that's fine. But I kind of wanted to throw in some of this detail here while I'm here. And then I'm just following along on my picture. I'm actually looking at my picture just as much or more than I'm looking at my paper that I'm actually drawing on. And you definitely want to take a lesson from Art 1. You want to draw what you see, not what you think something should look like. So again, I'm trying to go like line by line through this. I'm not drawing any one particular shape first. I'm just following the lines where they look like they're going. So now it's curving down. It's sort of like an arch here. I'm stuck here, so I'm just going to do a light line, and we're going to keep going. And then it's dark in there, so I'm going to shade as I go. Again, I'm kind of doing like a scribble sketch type of approach here. Back up to the top. See, like I was saying about it being a road, there's some texture in here, so I'll throw in some shading while I'm right here in this area. And I'm just going to go back and I'm going to work on this part now. So I see some leaves. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is just an art activity. It's just an exercise. So if it doesn't come out a finished product that's like the best thing you've ever made, it's no big deal. So I'm about here. So while my pen is here, I'm going to travel back up this leaf and sort of add in this swirl just as like a placeholder. I want to make sure that I don't lose the place of that, because when you do continuous line, proportions can be really hard. And again, I'm just following the roadmap of my drawing to get back to the place I'm trying to go, because again, this is continuous line, so the trick is to never pick up your pen. It's very dark in here, so I'm gonna add in lots of shading. I don't know if you guys remember, this type of shading is called scumbling, where you just kind of make random shapes and lines with your pen or pencil. I was just kind of looking across my hand to see. Might be a little too low, but we'll find out. Let's travel back up into here and add this guy's face, and that's going to be a tricky part. No, I think he has some type of helmet on. It's got kind of an odd texture. Just outline sort of the rough shape of his face, and then he's got sort of like a beard. I'm going to try to do not too many facial features here because I don't want him to look crazy. Sometimes less is more in that regard. I'm going to go back up here and add in this line that I missed. Maybe do a little bit of shading while I'm up here. Same thing here, there's a big shadow right there. So let's add in our window panes. Again, because it's continuous line, I can't cheat and pick up my pen and go across, even though I'd really like to. And then there's also a really striking shadow over here underneath the window pane. So I want to be sure to add that in. Now this window pane is tricky because it's at an angle on this side. Alright, so that got a little bit off proportion with that one, but it's no big deal, it's just a sketch. Alright, so now I'm going to add in a little bit of the shading that I see in the window panes. So right now I'm using a reference photo here. I took this photo, so there's no kind of copyright issue there, but it's definitely important that if you're using a reference photo, that it's either yours or you give credit to whoever it is if it's not yours. There's a little bit of a shadow under each one of the window panes, which helps because then it shows dimensionality. It's not just flat. Do you see just by adding the Now I'm stuck again. I'll just travel up the side. How about that? That's the nice thing about this, is that you can just make kind of things up a little bit as you go. Stuff. Alright, so now I'm here. I'm gonna add that in. Now this has a little bit of shading, a little shadow cast from being underneath of this. And then inside of the bricks are like these textured areas. So again, I'm gonna do some like scribbling, scumbling texture to make that. And then underneath is a little bit of a shadow. Okay, skip a section, and then that's a shadow. Okay. And then again, inside of each brick is kind of this scumbly, scribbly texture, a little bit of a shadow under each of those. Now this one has a lot more like value in it, the texture. See how much there's more darkness in there than there is in these ones? So I'm going to try to add that just by doing more marks randomly in some places than others. And I think that that might be it. I guess there's a shadow there that I kind of missed. And I think that might be all. So this is the final product. Good luck!